Upgrade your wardrobe with pieces made to last from Quince.
Go to quince.com/goodchildren for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns.
That's crazy, actually.
That's crazy.
That's QUINCE.com for free shipping and 365-day returns.
Quince.com/goodchildren.
Did you know that there was going to be an Arwen spinoff called Arwen, starring
Arwen.
I wish I knew his name. I did for years. Starring the man who played Arwen, and who was playing his daughter? Everyone on three. 1, 2, 3.
Anna
Selena
Sophia
Gomez.
Robb.
Selena Gomez. This
You're
was prior to
kidding me.
Wizards, and there was a pilot, and you could watch it, and you could look it up on YouTube.
Selena Gomez was going to be Arwen's daughter that never existed until the time that he had a show.
Exactly. Which would have been interesting. It's like, oh, we never saw Arwen's home life. He was like busy parenting Selena Gomez.
I would have loved it, but then they were like, you know what? Away from that, Selena, you have powers.
Well, I think that there must have been a moment where they were like, why are we making a children's show centered around this grown man? Like, it's like the only show I could think of on Disney Channel that would have been like Arwen and not like Raven or Hannah.
Or like Jessie.
Right. But
Yeah.
no, it was Arwen.
It could have been different.
It could have been groundbreaking. Like the Lizzie McGuire reboot that never happened.
Do you think that you could play Arwen in a reboot?
I don't actually want to talk to you anymore until our guest arrives. Let's just sit in silence. Hey guys, and welcome back to Good Children, the podcast for hosts Joe Hegyes
And Andrew Muscarella reflect on their 23 years of friendship.
growing up in the late 2000s.
Early 2010s.
And all of the nostalgia
Trauma.
and Disney Channel original series that go along with it.
Today we have a very, 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 very special guest.
I'm so excited. Like, you know, it takes a lot for me to be excited about someone who's on the internet.
And I think it takes a lot for you to laugh sometimes.
It takes a lot for me to
But
laugh.
you crack.
I crack. I have to crack every single time I see this person's social media account. This week's guest is
Yasmine Sahid.
Good
Children.
Thank you for coming
Thanks
on
for
the
having
podcast.
me.
We are so excited to have you. Truly, we were also just watching we watch your videos all the time, but we were watching them last night and we were cracking up, like
It
crying,
was
laughing.
watching Andrew like just scroll and every single time laugh out loud. I was like, you don't hear that much.
And
Like, that's a rare occurrence.
Yeah,
God.
I got really nervous because, especially with the videos of your friend who's chronically online. I
Yeah.
was like, that is Joe sometimes to
Yeah.
me because I am so offline that anytime anyone makes any reference, I'm like, oh my God, yeah. And they're like, oh, he didn't get it.
But that's like good.
I know.
That
It's
you're
healthy.
like, yeah, like you should be proud.
I guess so. But I want to feel like I know what's going on.
I know what you mean.
You
but
know.
also, do you?
Right.
You're right. Okay, I feel good. Actually, that's all I needed. We could wrap.
Yeah.
You had a very online adolescence, I can assume.
Yes.
Right. Okay. I was
Yes.
reading about like your Tumblr days.
Yes.
And I
yeah.
kind of almost feel like we just start there.
Okay,
Like,
let's do it.
Pull the Band-Aid off.
Okay.
Rip it off.
What was going on Tumblr for you? What was your niche?
It was a lot of One Direction,
Love. Who's your favorite?
Harry,
Okay.
a lot of smut, and a lot of One Direction smut.
Right. Was it
A collab.
Larry Silenson?
It was like, see, I actually wasn't that into the Larry shipping.
Okay. Good for you.
Yeah,
I feel
so-
like it's really problematic in retrospect.
I think it is too, and like I feel like it also kind of like helped me mentally that I like wasn't too much
Yeah.
in the Larry shipping like realm. But yeah, it was just mostly like your names.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I like forgot that was even a genre. the
yeah,
YN,
exactly.
right?
Yeah. So it was just like insert your name.
Were you writing?
No,
You were just reading.
I should have. I was just a reader.
But I feel like you are a writer.
I am.
You
If
didn't
you ever
learn
want to
that
go
young.
back in time and just start writing your name fanfic for One Direction, I'm sure people actually
You
now
should just
is
start
probably
doing
the
it
best
right
time.
now.
I was like, I'm kind of like debating on it. I want to.
Yeah.
Because it's like there's a market for it.
There's a massive.
What's
market.
stopping
Yeah.
you?
That
I
Anne
know.
Hathaway movie just came out. That was basically
you start
it.
crying.
Where did you grow up?
Wisconsin.
Are you a cheese lover?
I do love cheese.
Okay, can you process it well?
Like stomach wise?
Yeah.
No.
Okay,
But
same.
I love
all I wanted.
dairy. I know. But it's just like I think I need to go to the doctor. I think I have IBS or like something wrong with my stomach. I know.
Well, run me through the symptoms because I can tell you right now if you have it.
Okay, so it's like I'll like eat dairy and then I just get like bubble guts.
Yeah.
Or anything that's too rich.
Bubble guts.
It's like I just get like bubble guts.
Yeah, it's hell.
That's what we call. That's
it's
what
awful.
I call gas pockets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's what bubble guts is.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. You feel it in there. I feel it. You feel it bubbling.
Yeah.
You feel it. That's
And it's just like, and then I get really gassy.
Yeah.
And it's just like my dog. It's just like a better help.
I hate to say you came here. You didn't know you were going to the doctor's office, but
like,
you have IBS.
I don't have insurance.
Yes. No, actually,
not?
same.
No, I have to.
We also don't have insurance.
I just got kicked off of my mom.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
you're a year younger. You're 27.
Yeah, I'm 27.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm 27. I'm turning 28.
Okay,
and
okay.
you're
Yeah.
28.
Yeah, and
Yeah, it's really brutal.
yeah.
It's a brutal moment. And I was like, but you just got kicked off your mom's? When did you turn 27?
February.
Oh, okay. So it's
Happy
So
belated.
I had time. Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome.
But
It was so recent.
I know.
No
like,
wonder you don't
I just
have
got
it.
kicked
And sometimes
off.
you just want to hear happy belated birthday,
Yeah,
even though
it's
it's
true.
like 5 months
Yeah,
ago.
I just I mean, it means you care.
So growing up in Wisconsin,
Yes.
would you say you were a good child?
Yeah, I was a great child.
Any rules broken? Any disobedience?
No.
It's kind of the song "Teen Idol" by
Yeah.
by Marina and the Diamonds.
Yeah.
That was me. Like I was too good of a kid, and I kind of regret not being rebellious.
Yeah.
And also, like my parents or my mom was like, she's West African, so it's like if you know, you know. Like growing up, very strict.
Right.
You got to get all A's. Like you got to be on like cross your T's and Q's or whatever like the phrase is.
Yeah.
So I was like too like safe. And like all my friends, I had some bad friends. I had like I would have friends who they'd be like, "Oh, I just I'm talking to this like 40-year-old guy online and like we
In
met
high
up."
school? You're kidding.
No, I'm being so serious.
Oh,
like
jeez.
really, like not the best influences. And I'm just kind of like, okay, like
You're like, that's crazy.
yeah, I mean, like it is. I know, but it's like
Do you need help?
yeah, but like in comparison with me, that was like holy fucking
Yeah.
shit. But yeah, because I didn't really like do much.
Were you drinking? Like, did you drink in
No.
high school? Yeah,
I
okay.
didn't drink. It's just like like I didn't drink. I didn't smoke.
Did you feel like compelled to, or was it just like because you had the expectations, you were like, this isn't even a part of me?
Basically, and it was also fear. Like I was just so scared to get caught.
Yes.
like
Yeah.
that's what drove most of it.
Terrified.
Oh
terrified.
And then the guilt when you do get, well, I mean, I did I ever really get caught?
You were the most, out of the two of us, you were more rebellious.
But by rebellious, it was like I drank 2 times in high school, and it was like I felt like I was the
horrible.
I was the coolest person in school. No, everybody was drinking. That was the thing. It's like I felt like I needed to keep up, but it got to a point where my mom in high school was like, or senior year was like, you actually need to try alcohol before you go to college because I can't have you blacking out, which was honestly smart.
Honestly, that is really
That's
smart.
education.
And I do wish my mom kind of did that.
Same.
Like, I feel like I went into college just like not like I blacked out. Like
Yeah.
I got
You
too
let loose.
drunk because I was just like I never experienced
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I didn't like start drinking until I was 21. Like I waited until I was
wow.
basically, and then I was blacking out left and right.
Yeah,
and I
it
was
was bad.
21 doing
I
that at like
know.
Andrew's graduation party at his parents' house
Yeah, it was definitely something. Belligerent.
in the shortest shorts you've ever seen. It was really a mess.
You were like double cheeked up.
Yeah, I was. I
And
double checked up at the
slurring your
graduation
words.
party. It was really bad.
But it was, you know what? Sometimes we need a moment like that. You needed that moment.
You really, yeah.
Well, it taught me a lot.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that's I think my biggest regret with my childhood
Mm-hmm.
is I'm like, I would have avoided so many horrible, awkward moments in my adulthood if I like broke one rule.
Same.
If
Yeah.
I like snuck out once. But it's
Same.
like it was like impossible to even imagine it.
And it's like I didn't live in like I don't want to be like it was a safe neighborhood,
Yeah.
but it's also like still in the city. So like sneaking out, I don't know. It was like it just didn't make sense because it's like where I can't like weave in between the houses to like
Right.
get, they would just like park in front of my house and then my mom would see on like the security camera.
Yeah.
like
The surveillance.
yeah, I
Yeah.
know. She's real.
Were you
No,
a
we're-
surveillance state household too? Like
Oh,
the
yeah.
ring doorbells.
The ring
everything.
doorbells. It's
Yeah,
my biggest
you
enemy.
can't get
To this
past.
day.
Yeah.
To this day.
Yeah,
at
oh, yeah.
28 now. It's still if I went home, I'm like, be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's embarrassing because it's like, even after graduating, did you ever move back home or no? Did you move straight?
No, straight to LA.
Yeah, like moving back home with a Ring doorbell, it's like you can't bring anyone home because everyone knows. It's like, who's that man that just walked in the door? I'm like, oh, you don't know him. It's okay.
Yeah.
Did you go away to college?
Yes.
Okay, where?
I went to Loyola Marymount.
I went to Loyola, Maryland.
Oh my God.
That's Jesuit educated.
Yes.
That's
wow.
crazy.
Oh my God, Jesuits.
That's Jesuits. Yeah, I knew this was going to be good.
Did you go to school for acting?
Yes.
Yeah.
For the theater.
For the theater.
Was that always in the works for you, like, since you were a child?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And also, to connect, like, the theme of the podcast, the reason why I wanted to get so into acting was because of, like, Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, and, like, That's So Raven. It's like, it's still today, it's my favorite show. She's like my number one idol for, like, comedic actresses and just like people who can do it all. And so I was like, I was also a latchkey kid, so I would just watch TV after school, like nothing else really to do until I got to high school. So I was like heavily influenced by television and movies, and just from, I don't know, like second grade on, I was just like, that was the goal. Like, even, like, I mean, I'm still an actor. I just booked my first role.
Congratulations.
Can you say anything about it?
I don't don't, so I'm not going to.
Okay. Don't do
That's
that.
fine.
Okay.
But you're excited about it.
I'm
That's all
really
that matters.
excited for
That's
it.
amazing.
You're living out your
Yeah.
childhood dream.
I know.
That's so sweet.
I know. And it's crazy. Well, let me finish the first part.
Yeah,
But so yeah, I just always wanted to be an actress, and I remember I told my mom, do you guys remember the Big Time Rush song? The theme song? If you want it. Yeah.
Course.
And I did an ad with Big Time Rush, and I told them this story. But basically, I used one of their lines to convince my mom to move to LA.
What was the line?
And it's the line, if I said, if I want it all, I gotta lay it on the line. So I gotta live it up. I gotta live it big time, Mom. And she was like, you know what? You're right. And like, it worked. I know.
That's good songwriting. They need to
It's
know.
amazing. It's still my
Yeah.
favorite song. And it worked. And I got accepted.
Beautiful, actually.
Yeah.
When you go back and listen to those songs, that they were all of those like Disney Channel, Nickelodeon kids who were singing, every single one is extremely motivational.
Yeah.
It's borderline like church music.
Yes.
Everything is like, you can do it.
Yeah.
Like, keep going.
But I actually love it because I feel like I owe a lot of my success to those kind of songs.
I
Completely
agree.
agree.
Because you need someone to be like, you can do. I mean, and I had very supportive parents, but I feel like just like, I don't know, when you're feeling down and then you just pop that on, like it really does kind of like,
Especially when you're
Nobody
a
is
kid.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am
gotta work
actually
at
just an ordinary girl.
Yeah, sometimes.
No, it
I'm
really
lazy, I
is,
get
especially
bored.
Exactly.
as a kid listening to that music and then thinking, I mean, I think that's where it created the delusion of being famous, like wanting to be famous, right? And then you
100%.
just pop it on, you're like, it doesn't matter what happens right now
Yeah.
because I'm going to be so famous. Like,
Literally.
I'm the next Hannah Montana, and look at you. You're the next Hannah
next Hannah
Montana.
Montana.
Yeah, exactly.
I have
We're
a
like,
secret. But yeah. Oh, like my first acting role. But it's interesting because I've been acting for a long ass time, but I do it like I do a lot of theater, and then just like, I don't know, this industry is very hard. Like it's so hard. I just can't explain how hard it is to break in.
Did you expect it to be what it is when you got here, like when you got to LA?
No, I was, and I think it's the delusion, and also I was in. I mean, Milwaukee has it's like an okay theater, like acting. I don't know, city. So like, but I was like very into it in high school. And I had all my teachers were like, oh my God, like you're so great. You're going to make it. And I think I was the only one in my class that moved to Los Angeles to actually pursue my dream. So it's like in my head, I was just like, yeah, like I'm that girl. But then you move to LA and everyone thinks you're that
Everyone's
girl.
that girl.
So it's like, and then even after graduation, I was still like, oh my God, it's so easy. Like I already booked two, I don't know, roles in college. Like I can do it nonstop. And then I got into the real world and I was just like not booking anything. And I was like, it's definitely like an ego killer because it's just the reality of things. But I feel like now I tell myself, I'm like, I'm going to get in my acting bag and like really pursue it.
Yeah.
In a way, you've been doing it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Do you think that like also like entering the creator space has helped with acting, like growing a following, entering spaces and acting?
I think so because I started off as an actor, and I think that helped me a lot with building my my channels. And it's like I act in all my videos, and I write all my sketches and whatnots. And I feel like that's now being in the spaces of creators and writers and actors, like they see me, and I feel like it did help boost me a little bit because they're like, oh, she's an actor and she can write and she has like followers. And so I do feel like, and I feel like, you know, it's sometimes, I don't know, I feel like it depends. For some people, it may hold you back because it's like they see you as an influencer. Yeah. But I feel like you really have to like know how to work it a little bit. I don't know how to explain it.
Your content though, like, you are acting.
Yeah.
In your
Yeah.
writing it.
Yeah.
And I think it also, for anything that you're in, like, you're the star. You know, you have a lot of followers that will watch your content, and I think that goes really far.
Yeah.
And you have the experience to act, because I feel like we're also in a world where influencers, I mean, I want to act, right? I don't really have that many followers. And I also didn't go to school for acting. And I feel like for some actors who actually have a background, it's like, you know, you put in the work to get to the place that you're at right now. And sometimes when people grow their audience, they just expect like, oh, I can land that role.
I agree. I think, and I think I also owe it to actually going to school in LA, not just for like the education, but getting friends in school. Because I feel like a lot of people, they'll move to LA and then they don't have any friends, or like, I don't know. It's harder when you don't have just like a supportive group.
People going through the same thing.
Yeah. And then it's like, I don't know. And I'm also grateful that I got famous.
You are.
Don't do that.
You're famous.
No. But I'm grateful that it happened to me as an adult rather than a teenager. Yeah, because it's like I can process what's going on. I have people I can talk to if like, you know, like shit hits the fan. I'm like not like, it doesn't like, I don't know. I feel like I don't have to rely on the fame to feel validated. Like I can still, like, I know who I am as a person. And people, I mean, it's like it happens so often. You get so famous when you're a teenager and when you're young, and it's just like, it can like really fuck you up.
Yeah.
And we're always talking about how scary it is that like as kids, we would see those kids who were working full time at like 11 and be like, I wish I was them. I wish I had that. And looking back, like, especially with like Quiet on Set and things like that, like being like, oh my God, like, this was actually a nightmare for them.
And it's crazy because I remember I like tried so hard to be one of those childhood stars, and like
were you auditioning? Kind of.
Okay. I did a few auditions in high school, and then I did like, it's like they did those like open casting calls for those like agencies, and they were scams. But
I
like,
would hear it on the radio.
Look, you want to be the next Disney Channel star?
Yeah, you want to be on Sweet Life? Yeah. No, seriously. And so I'd go to those, and then like I would do my best and blah blah blah.
What were they like? Like, I always was so interested. How many people were there?
Really interesting insight, actually.
They were like, oh my God, this is like this topic alone should be a podcast.
Yeah.
Because I feel like people don't talk about it enough. So basically, they were like, you go to a mall. They're, you know, they have their recruits or recruiters, and then like you sign up for it, and it's like a conference hall or like a hotel conference like room, and then there's like a bunch of people. I want like hundreds, and there would be either stage or a catwalk. Okay. And so when you check in, you get your name, you get your like headshot, and you give it to them. And they give you like name tags. I can't remember specifically. It's either a name tag or a number.
Okay.
And then so they'd be like numbers 1 through 20 line up, and then you'd like line up on stage, and then there'd be like a panel of judges.
Oh my gosh.
In the like
Talk about like anxiety.
Every line gets worse.
And you would like walk the catwalk, or it like
You're like strutting.
You're
You're like
it's not like acting. You're just like kind of like.
well, it kind of depends. So
they're
like
sizing you up.
yeah, it's like they'll size you up, or if it's like, oh, I'm here. Like there's some different ones where it's like you're going for modeling or you're going for acting, and I went to like both.
Yeah.
So it's like in general, like you either walk the catwalk or you'll just like pose, and then they'll be like, do you have a monologue? And then you're like, yeah, and then you'll like say your monologue, and it's like in front of like people and the judges, and they're like, okay, that was good, you can go upstairs. It's like I think they like choose you, so they kind of like weed out the people who like their monologues weren't good.
So you created this monologue.
I do not remember. I think I found it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Monologues.com.
Yeah, the classic 1, 2, 3 monologues.
Yes.
And so I was one of the people who got chosen, and like you feel special, but it's like 100, 200 people got chosen.
Yeah.
And then you go upstairs to a different room, and then they're like, okay, here are these sides for this. I remember it was like a commercial for Jif peanut butter.
Okay.
And so it's like, I'm a Jif when I eat my Jif. I don't know, something like that. So they're like, memorize this, and then you're going to do this in front of the judges inside that room. And so, and it's like a little like leaflet. And so you're like memorizing this commercial. I don't even know if it's a real commercial. And you're like practicing, like all the kids are practicing in front of their parents, waiting in the hallway. This is hours. Like this, I want to say I was at this place for like, as a kid, probably like 6 hours or more.
That's
yeah.
Their snacks and water and everything.
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, not
I was
enough.
wondering the
Like,
conditions.
yeah.
I was trying to, yeah.
Like you know, you're kind of like fighting over a Nutter Butter.
Right.
Yeah.
But after so before you'd go into the judging room, they'd be like, you're next, like Yasmine Sahid. And then there's a woman who's like, I always remember the woman like manning the door, and she'd always be like, are you excited? And I'm like, yeah. And she was like, yeah, they're so excited to see you. Like they're kind of like amping you up. Yeah. And with their little like clipboard, like huge smile plastered on their face, and you'd go into this room of judges. They'd be like, okay, go. And then I was like, with a Jif peanut butter, I'll be there in a jiffy. And they're like, ha, ha, ha. Oh, let's see that again. But this time, take it slower. And I'd be like, with Jif peanut butter, I'll be there in a jiffy. And they're like, ha, ha, ha. Oh, good job. We'll call you. Like, you can go home now. And then you go, you leave. But they have your information to call or email. And so like a week later, they'll call you and they'll be like, congratulations, she was accepted into like the agency. And you'll be like, ah. And then they'd be like, you know, it just starts. You just got to pay like $1,000 to get it started. And then after that, it's like $60 a month or whatever. And my mom was like what? Like, and so like after they like say how much it costs, my mom's obviously, she's like, no, that's like what?
A scam.
Yeah, it's a scam. It's literally a scam. And then second time I actually fell for it. But I did. I know. But it was like, it's called Casablanca.
Okay.
Casablanca modeling, more bigger in the Midwest. Okay. And it's like, my mom would drive me there. This time it was similar, but like a little bit smaller, and it was like a smaller space. So my mom would drive me there every Sunday, and it's basically like they teach you how to model, they teach you how to walk, and they teach you commercials. Yeah, and it's like, again, it's like a school. So like they'll like talk about how to build your resume, how to walk, and it's just like, I was not a model. I don't know. I had good teeth, but it's just like, you know what I mean? It's like whoever would pay type of thing. They didn't really care about like your looks or like your walk or whatever.
They were trying to fund the business.
Did you walk away with valuable knowledge?
Not really.
Okay,
Before you leave today, we're gonna say, and this is a catwalk.
Yeah.
So now strut it out, work it.
I was just like, I mean, I was a kid, but I was just
Yeah.
like, I was just super scrawny and like I was short and
Yeah.
like, I don't know. And the girls were also, I remember this very vividly because this made me hate the school more, and I kind of became like a disruptive kid
Good
because
for
I hated
you.
it so
Okay.
much. But like, the other girls were like, they were like catty and they were kind of mean, and so I felt like I was just like, you know, I don't know, like the black sheep a little bit.
Yeah.
And then made me get like, I don't know, I get like snippy with the teachers.
This is where you're a bad child.
Yeah, this
She
is
came in
literally,
Casablanca.
literally. So I just get like snippy with the teachers. Like I wouldn't participate. There would be like partner up to
Oh,
practice your
no.
monologues, and I wouldn't like partner up. And I like
My
practice
least favorite thing to do is partner up.
Yeah,
It was
like,
always the worst.
Awful.
You're like partner up
awful.
for a monologue.
Yeah.
It's just one
I-
person.
Yeah.
Actually, so I'm good.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And that's how I felt. I was like,
Yeah.
I think I got it. And yeah, and then just I don't know. I think it just kind of like fizzled out, and my mom was like, and like I remember I went in for an audition, and I was in such, oh my god, I was like so moody, and they're like, can you like crack a smile? And I was like. And like I was like, it was so bad, and my mom was so pissed because she was like, she didn't even smile at the audition people, blah blah blah. But then I went in the room and I felt like I killed it.
Yeah.
But it was just like I just had like a bad attitude, but also it was just
crazy.
like, I mean, it was a scam. Like you
And
know
it
what
must
I
be
mean?
also frustrating to like start to realize in the moment, like, oh, it's not going to be this easy. I'm
Yeah.
not the most special person in the room.
Exactly.
I feel like I would have turned like into Chucky in that situation.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be freaking the fuck out.
But you also like, I feel like in those situations, you have to throw yourself in it. Like you have to believe it because with our anxiety too.
I
it's
wouldn't
like,
be able to. I wouldn't get through the door.
We were going on we
Yeah.
did a live show a year and a half ago,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like the first time we were on stage and we were sick to our stomachs. But if we were doing that as a kid and going to auditions like that, I feel
it'd
like
be
we'd
a
be a
little
little bit
different, for
different.
sure.
Yeah.
So at least, do you experience anxiety, like performance anxiety still, or do you feel like that helped you? in the acting
feel
space?
like, I mean, now it's like yes and no.
Yeah.
It's like I wouldn't say anxiety. I do get nerves, and I
Yeah.
think it's just natural for anyone who's performing.
Yeah.
But like I've just done it so many times, and I feel like
Yeah.
also with social media, it's like millions of people have seen my videos, so it kind of like made me, I don't know, it made me feel better about performing in front of people. Or it's like if I do something, I'm just kind of like, well, a million people have seen me act before. That's nothing
That's
Actually,
different
a
than
really incredible way to look at it.
yeah. It's just like
Are you therapized?
no.
Wow.
You are
Oh
really
my god,
well
you seem
therapized.
heavily
Really?
therapized.
Oh my
God.
Good for you. I'm
Oh,
so
thank
jealous. That's just
you.
natural.
I guess so.
Oh my god.
Wow.
That's really nice.
Oh wow. I mean, I should, but like,
Well,
Once we get insurance,
Yeah,
well, that's the
exactly.
problem.
we'll check
Yeah.
it on each
Exactly.
other and say, "Did you go to therapy?" this
Yeah.
Yeah,
week?"
we've been. I
Yeah,
forgot about the
we'll text
insurance
each other.
moment altogether. Raven Simone is really the blueprint, and
she
I feel
is.
like she's getting lost to history, like for like Gen Z.
Yeah.
Like people aren't realizing what she did
I
for everyone.
And I 100% agree. And I had the privilege to briefly meet her, like very, very
When?
brief. It was Disney had this Black creator like excursion kind of conference. It felt like more like a conference.
Yeah.
But it's like they had a bunch of Black creators, and they showed them around the studios, and they also had like special guests. And Raven Simone was a special guest, but everybody was surrounding Raven Simone.
course.
So it's like you could not like, it was so hard to get a one-on-one with her. She was still so nice, took every single picture, but like I was, and it was also, everyone was like, you don't understand, like you changed my childhood. And it's
Right.
just like, okay, she heard that like,
She's like, "Thank you."
yeah, and it's just like it doesn't like change. But
Yeah.
I mean, like she did, but it's like, you know, after hearing it like 40 times, it's kind of like,
kind of like,
yeah.
all right.
Yeah. So, but it was just, she really is. I don't know. Like as I was seeing her, I was thinking, you really did you were that girl.
Yeah.
Like, you acted, you sang, you were in movies, you were in shows, childhood
Everything.
stuff.
Her comedic
everything.
timing is impeccable.
So
her facial
good.
expressions are beyond. Like, I
So
feel like
good.
I genuinely took on faces.
Yeah.
from
I
her.
did too.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
like anything.
It's-
I get visions to this day.
No, seriously. I'm like, yeah.
But yeah, I feel like she's like this. She's like the Jim Carrey of like
Yeah.
everyone now. Like her comedy influenced everybody. Where it's just kind of it is the
She's the
blueprint.
blueprint.
Like,
Yeah.
baseline to be funny, you need to have some Raven in you. Otherwise, it's like you're a little off.
No, and I agree. And it's like, I also liked it because she did, like, her comedy was very, like, it's multicam, it's like big and out there, but it never felt cheesy. It never felt fake. It was all grounded and realistic, and just like her characterization, it's so fucking good. And
It really is.
I do feel sad sometimes because I feel like, especially with the younger generation, they don't really understand like how impactful she is, and I feel like she paved the way for a lot of like everybody in like the Disney circuit.
Yes.
It's like you had to meet Raven's level of acting.
I know.
And I mean, I don't think anyone honestly could.
I don't
They all
think so
did great
either.
jobs. Love them all, but
Yeah.
like, there's no one that could really compare to what she was doing.
Yeah.
And I feel like
completely
Hannah
agree.
Montana really like came in and overshadowed all of Raven's work. Like that, like the music, I think just like
Yeah.
pushed
It was
her.
like
Yeah.
incessant music
Yeah.
every single episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Raven's voice is amazing.
Amazing.
Even what was the
Double Dutch bus.
Oh my
Down the
gosh.
street.
Even her
Yes.
verse,
Yeah.
her verse in
Circle
what was
of
the
Life?
one? Yeah, Circle of
Yes!
A
God.
dream is a dream.
Oh,
it's
it's the wish one too.
Oh, yeah,
Those were
yes.
really
Oh my
massive.
God.
When they tried to make Dylan and Cole sing, they were like, "Go ahead and get behind the microphone." That was insane. Yeah.
They made anyone
Everybody.
sing.
Anyone who was cast.
Anyone, like, they were just like, you're gonna get a music career, whether
Yes.
you like it or not. You're
Yeah.
gonna just deal
And
with
very
it.
few were able to step up to the plate like Raven.
Yeah.
They gave her the most lyrics.
Yeah, of
'Cause
course.
she-
Sure.
Yeah, she sang circles around.
Is
her
that was
shit.
that was the requirement to be on Disney? I'm assuming
You had to sing a
to
little
sing.
bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Or
But Dylan
they
and
were
Cole,
like,
I feel like snuck in.
They were like,
Yeah.
"You're twins."
yeah, that's all I needed.
yeah.
Done. There's two
they're
of
like,
you.
it's
Come on
cute.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put a camera on them.
So we have Big Time Rush. We
Yes.
have That's So Raven.
Yes.
What were like the other blueprints for you that kind of helped nurture you into who you are today?
Gosh. I would also say, oh my God, controversial, The Amanda Show.
Yeah.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah. But
That's
like,
what makes that documentary so much harder.
I
Is it
know,
like
I
this
know.
was such a
Talk about-
funny
yeah.
show.
It was-
Comedic timing.
yeah,
Amanda
just
Bynes.
great. Like, as a kid, just like great comedy.
So much control of
Yeah.
a room. And she's
Yeah.
like 8.
I
It's like,
know.
how?
And she was like beautiful, and she was funny, and like wasn't afraid to look stupid.
Yeah.
Just like, and I was like, yeah, like I want to be on that show.
Yeah.
Thank God I wasn't.
Or,
Bringing the dancing officers.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But also I was really big into cartoons. So like, were you guys Cartoon Network kids?
I dabbled. To me, it was like
It scared me.
it was it didn't scare me.
I
but there's
hear this
like,
a lot.
There's like this like it was like for me it was 31, 32, 33. It was like Nickelodeon was 33,
Yeah,
Disney
yeah.
Channel was 31, and then there was
Yeah.
like that valley in the middle.
Yes.
And that
Yeah.
was
Cartoon
Cartoon Network, and it would always I'd have to get through it to get to Nickelodeon.
dead.
So like if as I was quickly skipping it, something caught my attention, I'd watch it. But otherwise I was like, I can't even see
Oh
what's
my
on this screen.
God.
Like Curtis the Cowardly Dog. Like I was like,
Courage.
courage. Courage. No, I'll call him anything.
Courage was terrible.
I wasn't watching it enough. Clearly,
I did love
Scary.
Courage.
It
What
was
were
very
yours? What were
scary.
your Cartoon Network picks?
Mine was Ed, and Eddie.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. I
Yeah.
loved that.
That one was
show.
also really dark.
It was, and I think I'm a big like horror fan. Like horror comedy is like I love that
Yeah.
genre, and I feel like Cartoon Network played really good on horror comedy
did.
for
It was
kids.
scary.
Surprisingly
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
A lot of it was that.
Yeah, so I feel like I watched so much. Oh my God, Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy was like my fucking show, and it there were moments. I rewatched it as an adult, and I was like, Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
like I was like, oh my God,
disgusting.
yeah, like very gruesome, and like a lot of like fart humor, which is like, it's a kid show, but oh my God, like there would just be like someone's skin would like peel off.
Yeah,
like,
I feel
oh
like that
God.
was my visual. The visual I was thinking was immediately skin off.
Oh yeah, it was.
That was happening a lot.
A lot of skin off, a lot
stop.
of just like gory stuff. But I don't know. I liked it. It was like Cartoon Network was like the edgy.
It was.
Yeah.
And like I'm surprised my mom like was not like, I don't know,
shutting
she just,
it down.
Yeah, she allowed me to watch everything on Cartoon
Was she
Network.
hearing what was going on in there, or were you just like in a different? Yeah.
No. Yeah, and
Like,
that's
the
why.
skin's off again.
Yeah, like that's why I was kind of like, dang, she was kind of like lenient on like stuff. Well, it's funny because I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons.
Same.
Yeah, because like that was too
Inappropriate.
I don't know. It's funny because I rewatch it and I'm kind of like, it's really
Yeah,
like,
when I
it's
watched it during
PG.
COVID, and I was like, why was this banned? in my
Yeah,
house?
yeah,
Like,
it's so weird. And Family Guy, she really
Yeah.
hated. Whenever,
also banned for sure.
oh yeah, and that's like for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But other than that, like I don't know, she was okay with me watching.
Yeah.
Were you watching like an ABC Family original series?
Was I?
Like a free form, I guess. But like at that point, I think it was ABC Family.
yeah.
But, like, Secret
I
Life of a
remember.
Teenager. Okay. I'm
yeah.
sorry for even
No.
presuming. I know. You do know the history.
I'm like, no. I know an ABC Family. I think I wasn't super. My sister was.
Okay.
Yeah.
She loved.
Is she older or younger?
Older. She's
Okay.
30, about to turn 31.
Okay.
Yeah, she
Like Pretty Little Liars.
Pretty
those
Little
shows.
Liars. Yeah, I don't know. I never got into those.
Those
Yes,
missed me
me.
too. Was my sister who's
Yeah.
32 who was
Yeah.
watching those. So I guess it was we were a little too young.
I think. I think so.
But I also felt like I wasn't too young, but I was like I was telling myself I was too young.
People
I
were
agree.
watching it in high school.
Yeah.
People would come in and they would be talking
But
about
I was like,
it.
Yeah.
I'm a kid.
I'm like, I'm still watching How About That.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm
I
a
don't
child.
remember
I
watching,
never made a
but-
child.
Yeah.
Like that was through high school. I was like watching children's TV.
Oh, same.
And then I switched to like Game of Thrones upon graduation.
Oh.
I like. It was like literally like going from like Hannah
Trump.
Montana.
0 to 100 very
Or
quick.
no,
Yeah.
the first adult show I ever watched was American Horror Story. And that was
Okay.
like, I was like, oh, this is a whole different thing that's happening on
Yeah.
the internet.
I'm trying to. I honestly, I don't know if I remember my first adult show.
My wardrobe has been taking a beating.
And that's why you need to upgrade your pieces with high quality, well-made garments from Quince.
And not for that high price.
No.
And the quality is top notch. I'm obsessed with the button down I have.
And Quince only works with factories that are safe and ethical, which I think is actually rare to find in this day and age.
They don't only just have things for your wardrobe. I cannot get enough of my quilt comforter. It is amazing. I want to sleep all day.
I'm sure, and that's I'm
Well,
sure you do.
You had to wake me up to get here, so upgrade your wardrobe with pieces made to last with Quince. Go to quince.com/goodchildren for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns.
That's QUINCE.com/goodchildren for free shipping and 365-day returns.
quince.com/goodchildren.
Did you
had
watch
to be.
American Horror Story?
Yes.
Was that something like in the Tumblr days
beginning.
for you?
Not in the beginning, like later in college.
Yeah, okay.
Like, so I guess like a little bit on Tumblr, but I think I really got into it freshman year.
Okay.
Like really got into it.
From
and
season 1 on.
Yeah, I started on
Asylum.
was it like Freak Show?
Freak Show. I
Freak
started
Show.
on
That's a
Freak
good
Show.
one.
Yeah, loved it.
Yeah.
Like obsessed with it.
Yeah.
It was a very good season.
Really, like, oh my god, it was so good. And then I moved to the witch one,
Coven.
Coven.
Yeah.
Also really good.
So fucking good.
History. Literally history.
So good.
Amazing TV.
Have
And
you
they're
seen
still making
Asylum?
it.
It was the second season.
I started it. I'm in the middle of it.
It was the scary. To me, that one was the
It's bleak.
scariest.
Yeah.
It's very Billy and Mandy.
Yeah, I know it is. And I think that's why it's like, I think Asylum's like more darker, which is why
Yeah.
I couldn't get into it immediately like the
Yeah.
rest of the ones. Because they still had like a good amount of comedy and
Very
kind of like
campy.
lightheartedness. But yeah, Asylum's like dark.
Freak Show is amazing. What, Jessica Lange sang Life on Mars? Is that
Yes.
And like Lana. Like it was such a weird, such a good situation happening.
It was just like, oh my God, it's so fucking, I need to be watching.
Were you a reality TV person? Were you watching America's Next Top Model growing up or no?
But yes.
But yes. I mean, I guess that's not super reality, but like for me, that was like my childhood.
Oh yeah.
Maybe that was an adult show, but I was maybe 8 years old watching America's Next Top Model.
Young.
Yeah.
Too young.
Watching
Too
Tyra
young.
do horrific things.
Yeah. Watching her like race swap the contestants.
Yes. Left and right.
Yeah.
Chisel gaps in, remove gaps, everything.
Yeah.
That's because it's Tyra.
It's Tyra. You're tossing water now.
She heard us. Yeah, I just like, I remember CW had like a marathon and it was like, I think it was a weekend. I would just watch the marathon and oh my God. But like, she would just do these terrible things and be like, the girl couldn't make the cut. Like, agreeing with her.
Right, yeah.
And like, I remember the Tyra's Freak Out.
Yeah.
I've never mind that. Yeah. But I think that's, oh no, there was more. All the reality shows I watched were with my like older siblings. So like is it Flavor of Love?
Yeah,
that I feel like very you.
I was very big into Flavor Flav.
Yeah.
Tila Tequila, like all those people. I was like, why am I watching
So
this?
bad.
It's so bad.
So bad.
And I would just watch these women like with Flavor Flav, like with his big clock, like what's like grinding. I was like, what's going on? But I was tuning in.
Yeah.
I was like, this is amazing content.
Anytime it was on, I was like, oh, background. Like,
see, again, I was like, not for me. Too young.
Really?
I was very self-censoring. I was very good at that. But also I just like was loving what was on my 31 to 33 channels.
I mean, yeah, it's like, yeah, why not?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's just devastating when Hannah Montana ended. I guess we were a little bit too old.
We were too old.
Really upset about
and we
it,
still
we were
carry
upset.
through it all. But so Raven, main influence here.
Yes.
In high school, were you doing plays? Were you?
Yeah.
Theater girl.
I was what? Yeah, so I was doing a lot of musicals and I was doing like a few plays. Just
I have to know which ones.
Oh my God.
Musicals and plays.
We did.
And who you were playing in each of them.
We
should have brought your resume.
I know, literally. Actually.
Ready.
Yeah, if you guys need it. We did West Side Story.
Okay.
Very white school. We had no
Right.
business doing West Side
Right.
Story. We had no
like
business
that
casting a white woman
happens.
as Maria.
Of course.
And I was just like ensemble. Honestly, I never really got leads in, well, because the musicals, I didn't have a strong voice in high school. Like I could sing, but like I was going up against like
Powerhouse.
powerhouses. So I never got like good roles. But I was mostly like ensemble. What else did we do? Legally Blonde. I was the stenographer.
It's my favorite. One of my favorite musicals.
Favorite
It's
musical.
amazing.
I love. Oh my gosh, that was the most fun musical I've ever done. And the role of the stenographer, I have one line, but I like did too much. Like there's like, because it's basically in the courthouse during Gay or European.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the gay or European guy kisses my hand and I'm supposed to be like, but I was doing like I had no lines in the scene. I was doing way too much. I was literally stealing the show. The director told me to like take it back.
What were you doing?
I was just like I was like unbuttoning my shirt. I was like flipping my hair.
It is always
like,
the girls with the one line that they're coming in
it
being
up.
like,
Well, you have
I'm
one
making this
shot.
content.
I know, literally, and I wasn't gonna throw it away.
Yeah, of course.
And I was like, I was like fluffing my hair, like moving my seat closer. And like I just remember hearing like the audience like crack up because I was doing so much, and all the kids on the stage were like, "Oh my God, Yasmine, like do it!" Like they were like egging me on to like do a lot, and the director was like, "Yeah, like I think you were just doing a little bit too much." And I was just kind of like, "Oh, okay."
The director's backstage, like, what is she doing?
Yeah,
What is she doing?
He's like, and then And then at the end, I read like the one line like too like exaggerated, but the school, it was just, you know, it's like it's politics in like casting. It still is. So it's like, you know, like the choir teacher's daughter like always got like
Not
the
the
good
Nepo
role.
baby in high school.
I know.
It's horrible.
She's going back home and she's doing extra bars. Like her mom's on the piano. She's like, you're gonna get the role, honey. Okay.
Yeah, and like, you know, all the top singers always got like the big roles in choir.
Yes.
So I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna take what I got and just go to the moon with it. I have to.
Yeah. Do you want to get back into musicals, or are musicals behind you?
I've been thinking about it, and I've been like, I don't know. I've been getting kind of like a musical bug lately.
Has your voice gotten stronger from high school? Okay.
It has.
I'm sure it's been strong
Your
forever.
singing voice is at its peak at 30 years old, so you're not even there yet.
So I
3
think
years.
I feel it. I feel myself like getting there, and I think also I talked to my voice teacher, and he says that people hold trauma in their voices. And growing, I know, fucking nerd.
Like my voice is crazy.
Voices are very traumatic.
That's what it is.
No, it is. And
know.
like I think it was going up against these powerhouses, and also I like my school was it was diverse, but it was still very like white heavy. So like I think there was kind of like the stigma for me to have like a really strong like gospel voice, but I didn't have that. So I got like really in my head about it, and I would just like, I don't know, like I would just always kind of like tighten my vocal cords and not feel like I could go up against, you know, the big people. And I think it carried along with me until an adult. And he was like, it was so funny because I was in my first lesson and he was like, let me guess, you thought that you needed to be a Whitney Houston and you weren't, and so it really affected you throughout your life, and that's how you feel, and that's how you feel like you can't sing as powerful as you can. But you know what? You can sing powerful. We just gotta take away all that trauma you had and find your voice, and it's gonna be a process, but I'm here, and that's what I'm here for. And I was like,
just immediately clocking your
immediately.
Crazy.
And I was just like, it's just like all from singing one song I did in high school. And he was just like, yeah,
He
I know.
immediately felt that?
Yeah.
So you
like,
are therapized.
I guess I am. I guess so.
That's crazy.
I know. And so now I feel like I'm more confident in my voice. And like I also have the training now. I feel like I never got proper training. I was in choir, but like the coaching I did was like, I don't know, I didn't think it was that good. So yeah, I feel like, I don't know, like I feel like I do have to look, musical theater, it's another, like, it's its own entity. So I get that I'm still up against, you know, the big dogs, but I feel more confident if I want to be reintroduced like into
great.
it.
You're not walking in thinking you're Whitney Houston anymore.
Exactly.
You're Yasmine.
I know. I'm
Yes.
Yasmine. Exactly.
Wait, I'm excited for this
That is
musical
really
theater
exciting.
era for
I'm
you.
really excited for
God.
everything that you're going to do.
Oh, thank
And
you.
again, like, we are such genuine, true fans of the work. I was just thinking, like, I don't know how, I'm sure you answer this probably every single time someone speaks to you, and it's boring. But I feel like there are so many of our listeners who are like in like the post-grad phase of their lives and like trying to decide, like, how do I actually go for the thing I want?
Oh.
And obviously you literally worked for the acting part, like that was different, but the content side of it, like what was that, what were you like fine posting? Like what compelled you to start? You were always like ready to post.
Yeah, I'm always. I know. That's why I'm like
It's
so
for
bad at
listeners
giving.
and for us.
I'm like,
We want to hear from you.
I'm asking for a friend. Like, how did you get good at it?
I'm always like, I feel like I'm so bad at giving this advice because I think I'm naturally optimistic, and I've always been that way. But it's kind of like I remember. Like when TikTok was popping off, I told myself, I was like, I'm gonna get famous off of this app. Like that's literally what I said. I was just like, I'm gonna get famous off of this app because this is how I'm not booking anything and my management sucks. It's lockdown, so like there aren't any roles. It's like I have to pave my own way now. And you just kind of have to like think about yourself when you're starting off, and it's easy to be discouraged of what would people think of me, what would people from high school think of me, all that blase. But you have to look internally and just realize that it's not going to happen if you're blocking your own path. It's, in the end of the day, like, there are definitely, like, naturally it depends, like, where you live, like what you do for work, money, and like that's all understandable. But it's also, you still have to make that step in your life to make the next step to get to the, to make the goal you want to achieve. And so, I feel like you just have to have faith in yourself and just go for it, and you can't be too scared to fail. Because that's part of anything you try new. It's like you're gonna fail.
Scared.
It's gonna be scary.
How do you process like hate? Like, do you get any like hate comments or like people that are in your
I get a few. I mean, I don't know. I think I'm a little lucky that I don't get too many hate comments. I've definitely gotten, like, the bigger you get, I've gotten a few, definitely, like, on my image. And I think that's more so, and, like, people who, like, wouldn't understand the joke, like, I get, like, stuff like that. But I don't know. I heard once that, like, if you, what do they say? You're not popping if you don't get hate or something like that. So that, I think that just kind of reminds me where, like, I'm doing something right, that like I'm like growing and I'm getting bigger.
And that bothers people because they're not doing it.
Exactly. And it's like, I remember when I hosted the TikTok Oscars, like, someone in my comment was like, no offense, but like, why are you there? And then I was like, let's look at this guy. And then I went on his profile. First off, he follows me.
Of course.
It's always a follower.
If you follow someone, you have no excuse to send a hate, to like type on your little
honey, you're one of the reasons I am here.
Literally, I was just like, you cannot follow me if you are gonna like be in my comments and start acting a mess. And then I like looked at his profile and I was kind of like, okay, like, private account, you follow me, and like, I'm sorry, like, you look like the rest of us. Like, there's nothing, I don't know. And that, I think that kind of helps me, where it's just kind of like, they're not at my level. Like, it's just like, it's like, you're the one who sent hate to me, and like,
and you're putting out positivity. You know, it's not like you're putting out like triggering videos.
Exactly. And I think that helps too, because it's like, I'm making comedy videos. I'm not commenting on people's bodies. I'm not making videos that like makes fun of like looks, body, like if like money or stuff like that. I honestly, like, at the end of the day, I make fun of myself. Like, I make fun of my upbringing and like what I go through, and then like occasional like movie tropes and stuff like that. So that, again, it's like, if you find hate in this, I don't know, it's
because you bring so much joy.
And it's like, it's also one of those things where it's kind of like, this says more about you than it does about me.
Always, of course.
So I just kind of, and like, I also have like a very solid like friend base and community and family, so it's like, I don't get, I mean, I'm human, so it's like, you still read it and you're kind of like, oh, but like, at the end of the day, I have, you know, a great support system, and then you're just kind of like, who cares what this rando said about me?
It is. I think it's so all about touching grass.
I'm literally here. You really are such an inspiration.
Are you crying?
Oh my god!
Oh my god! I was like,
you turned to me and I'm sobbing.
I was like, holy shit! Literally. No, I really. I also was like, I can't like just flat out call you inspirational, but you really are.
Oh my god!
And I'm just thinking about little you. Like, I'm just thinking about what you have done for your child self, and like, that is really, really crazy. And it's just,
it's healing, and it's like, it's beautiful to see, especially for like us. Like, that's something we've always wanted, and seeing you live that dream is really beautiful.
Oh, guys.
And it seems extremely well deserved.
Oh my god!
Now you're crying. We're all in this episode. We're sobbing.
Okay, so you booked your first role.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
What I want to know like the dream. What is like what are we in this for?
My dream is to just be like to write my own show. I'm working on a pilot and a play.
Okay.
Yeah, a play that I'm hoping.
That's different.
I know.
That's exciting.
Plays
I
are
know.
different.
Yeah, very different. And my goal is to like have my own like show that I'm like showrunner and writer, and I'm also starring in it.
Yep.
And to like have it just be like new and innovative and like kind of just be like, I don't know, like a big time deal, I guess.
Yeah, which you deserve.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. And I feel like inspiration. So like Issa Rae, who like
amazing.
I always brag about this, but I was there during Awkward Black Girl, and I was there every single week, like peeping for the new episodes, and then seeing her now as like
so
an
wild.
A-list celebrity, and then I
Yeah.
got to interview her at the Oscars, and I was just like. Like it was such an insane experience because she is literally my idol, and I feel like she was the first person who embodied, because growing up there was the representation for Black women were limited, so it was very like, oh, you were either, you know, like strong Black woman or like a caricature from like the hood. Like there was no in between of like, you know, what if I'm just like an awkward girl, or I'm just kind of like there. Like I felt like it was like very extreme dynamics, and she was the first person who was like, yeah, no, I'm awkward. I'm like, I do like stupid stuff. I make stupid decisions. Like I deal with like bad like relationships and making bad decisions, and I feel like she was the first person who I saw myself truly in media and being written well and like great storytelling, and then just seeing her now just like dominating and like writing her own show Insecure,
So good.
being in the Barbie movie, and she's just like fucking killing it. So
That is so
That's a good-
wild.
Yeah.
And
it's
that's
just
gonna
so
be
crazy.
you.
It is
Like
gonna be
that's
you.
crazy. And you're doing that for someone
Manifesting.
else. Like
Yeah.
that's so wild to me.
But again, like
know.
you're getting everything that you've wanted so far since you were a kid. So you're
Yeah.
putting that out there. That's
Yeah.
gonna happen.
yeah,
Come on.
I know. Yeah, it's just like, you know,
We're
it's
gonna
like
be
the work.
interviewing you when you're on the red carpet. We're like, remember
And I'd be
2
like,
years ago?
Danny, right?
I'm like, actually, yes. Call me whatever you want. Yeah.
Oh my god, I was about to start crying that time. It's
Oh my
actually
God.
something weird's happening.
Yeah, something's in the air.
Something's going on in the universe.
Yeah, there's a gas leak.
No, because we knew this was going to be a great conversation, and
my
we knew
God.
because it's so. What's nice about having a podcast sometimes is like we get to meet creators or we get to meet actors or people like you that we see ourselves in you. We see that you're doing it and you're making it, and this is something
Yeah.
that we've always wanted as well. So it's like when the moment happens, like it's emotional. It's
Yeah,
great.
but it's also cool because it's like me being in this space. I'm like in a studio, and like you guys having your own podcast, and like and I watch, like I've seen your podcast and your TikToks, and like so fucking good, so funny.
Thank you.
I don't know,
Thank you
it's just
very
like a
much. Yeah.
weird kind of like symbiotic. I don't know if
The
that's
parasocialness.
the name. Parasocial,
level.
yeah.
It's like when you get access to your For You page,
Yeah.
you're like, this doesn't make any sense.
No, and I think it's also interesting because it's like you say about like, oh my god, like you're so inspiring. I'm like, you guys are so inspiring. Like, I don't know, just like being in the space, and then you guys you cry.
It's actually happening. It's fine.
I need insurance.
But it's true. Like you guys are inspiring, and it's like you're in the studio space and you're getting great guests,
Yeah.
and it's like it's not easy to have a successful podcast. There's like, I could be wrong, but there's like a number of, you know, people who start podcasts, they don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's like being here alone, and I don't know, it's just like you guys are like you're still doing it. You're still
Yeah.
in the industry. You're still making it happen.
Thank you very much.
Of course.
It is definitely like, I think in this entire moment right now, we all need to process what's going on in our lives. Because I think it's so easy when you're getting what you want, or you're getting like these things are happening. You're interviewing Issa Rae. You're doing all these things. It's like, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
And you don't take a step back to be like, that person is my inspiration. 2 years ago,
they found out.
Come on.
Like that always puts it into perspective.
Yeah.
If you had known the things that you've done like 2 years ago, you'd be like, that can't possibly be true.
No, and it's really insane, and I 100% agree with that. And so I say like scrapbooking. I feel like scrapbooking is the best way to like sit and process like the milestones you've made, because it's true. You're always thinking about the next thing. You're always kind of like, okay, I did this. Like, what's next? And but it's like, I don't know. You really do have to like sit and just be grateful. And yeah, I don't know. It's weird comparing yourself from 2 years ago.
Yeah, I know.
You're just like, damn.
My favorite thing to do is write letters on this website called futureme.org.
Oh.
And I write myself letters like 5 years in the future, and then they come. Like, so like I know one's coming from like July 2019 and this July, and I'm like, I can't wait, because that's like, oh, I'm talking to myself.
Oh
like,
my
I know,
God.
And that's something I recommend doing.
And that's pre-pod.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I have them like from every year, like random times. And that's a really good way to be like, oh, okay, I can read exactly how I was feeling in this moment, like what I felt necessary to repeat and like tell you. I suggest that.
You got to do that almost now, especially that you're getting your first acting role. And you want to show.
You should do it today. You should do that today at some point.
I will.
We're giving you homework. You're leaving here and you're
like, you write a 600-word essay
Yeah.
back to your high school days. I'm like, if you don't get an A, actually, it's bust. Wow.
I have to like send it to you like, in, like by
We're
mail.
5 years.
Yeah.
We're fixing the grammar.
Yeah. It's like, I'm like
comma. Good children to the guidance office.
Hi, Joe and Andrew. Basically, I've been binging the pod, and in one of the older episodes, Joe said something that really resonated with me, which was, once a job starts making you hate your life, and once it starts ruining your life, it's time to move on. Which, literally, I had like an epiphany as I was pulling into the parking lot of my job, and I was like, oh, this job's making me hate my life. It's time to move on. But, like, how do you figure out what's next? I'm not really tied to, like, what I'm doing now. I don't really care. Like, I don't care about a job. And so, how do you even figure out what's next when, like, I can't have my whole life be my job. I can't let that be the most important thing to me, and it's not. But then how does one even find the next job when you don't really care that much about what it is? Does that make sense? I feel like you have both now found really, like, things that you actually care about and are passionate about. But, like, I mean, there had to be a job that you didn't care about. How did you go from that job and figure out what you did want to do? I don't know if any of that makes sense. All right. Thank you. Love you guys.
that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I relate to this very, very heavily. Before I came into content creation, I had a job that made me hate my life. Hated it. And so I've been there before.
What was the job? Can you say it?
Oh, of course. It was, I worked at a skincare line, and it was like, it's like a boutique skincare line. And my friend, before that, I had like a really shitty coffee job. And my friend who worked at the skincare line, she was like, there's a position opening up, but when you're there, you have to like stay focused. It's fast paced. Don't, like the boss is crazy. She yells a lot. So like you have to be prepared for that. And I was like, oh my God, like because it was like, it paid like 20 an hour, 24 an hour. It was like really, really good pay.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, of course, like anything. I need the money.
Yeah.
And so I got into this job, and like I kept my head down. I filled bottles of skincare. She also paid us under the table a lot of illegal stuff.
Okay, but
I got my money. I got paid. But she was so abusive. Like genuinely such a toxic environment. She like just verbally abusive. She would scream till her voice like gave out.
Abby Lee Miller.
Yeah.
Oh my
like,
God.
Like scream. She was a narcissist. She like had her expectations were not realistic in any way. I also worked for her. So like she bumped me up from like filling bottles to packaging, which is like it's like a bigger role because you have to like not fuck up the orders. But then she also wanted to be prominent on. I feel like the more I talk, the more people are gonna figure out who this person is.
Okay.
Because she did celebrity like skincare. So she wanted a presence on TikTok.
Okay.
And so I was also working her.
That's where they get you.
Yeah.
You were doing social on top of your other job.
Yeah.
That's where they get
Yeah.
you. That's when
Terrible.
it becomes hell.
Yeah.
Like,
terrible.
That's really
terrible. And she would be like, "Oh, you have to do these packages," and I would do the packages. But then she's like, "What's going on? Why weren't you finished editing the TikTok?" And so I'd go edit the TikTok, and she'd be like, "Don't spend too much time on that TikTok. You're wasting time. We need these packages done." So it was just like,
oh my God.
back and forth. I was just like, genuinely, I was like, well, and also I was gonna do it on my own time because it's like she wasn't paying me,
right?
So it's like I would never have time to like finish the video she wanted to do. On top of that, I was doing packages, and then she once called me outside of the office, like it was a Saturday, and she was like, "Were you working on these packages this day? You someone got an empty package and you cannot be messing up like this," and like just yelling at me when
God.
it turned out I wasn't even
working that day.
I wasn't working. I wasn't working packages that day. So she called me to yell at me for a mistake that I didn't do. And then
I can't.
Yeah, and then she once called me stupid.
No.
She like said I was slow, and I think this was also during the time where I started getting more like active as a creator.
Yeah.
And so I think she was getting like jealous of me because I didn't. She liked the feeling of people needing her, and I didn't need her.
Yeah.
Like I would now it's just like, okay, it's just a
She's
job.
like, do my TikToks.
Yeah. And
Exactly.
so she started using that against me, started getting more like aggressive with me. And she was like, oh my God, just so many stories. She would like always yell at her daughters, like in front of the office. Like she once called someone, she said someone dressed as a whore because they had like a bodysuit. They came in wearing a bodysuit. There was no uniform. Like terrible, awful person. She she eventually got the TikTok thing like blew up in her face, clearly because like some scandal. I don't know. I didn't sign an NDA.
I can't wait for you to tell me who this is.
I for sure will. But like she's like just awful, terrible person. And so this job genuinely made me hate my life. I was getting nightmares.
Yeah.
I quit the job, still getting like nightmares of being at work.
Would you like wake up in the morning sick?
Yeah.
Like check your phone?
Yeah. I would like my anxiety was through the roof. I had panic attacks daily.
Yes.
I like was breaking out awful, like the worst my skin has ever been in my life. Just like so many things were going wrong with my body. And I never like made the correlation that it was because of the job. And so I was like in this, like, it's funny because you guys were like, oh, I'm getting so emotional being inspirational. Like, I'm getting emotional thinking about this, like,
I'm sorry.
period in my life.
deep.
No. But it's like, but it's important because I feel like, I didn't want to say I needed it, but it definitely helped me like realize that like there is more to life than this job. Yeah. And it's like, okay, at the end of the day, I'm getting paid my paycheck and I'm like, I'm able to make the necessities, but like what's after that? Like I'm not enjoying my life. Yeah. I'm not like out there. I'm not doing what I want to do. And so it really, I don't know, there was something happened. Oh, I remember. She like gave us off for the 4th of July. And then like the day before we left, she like added like 3 more days off, but like with no pay. And so I was just kind of like, okay, if she's going to do this, then like, who cares if I just leave? And then I I never went back to work.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Good for you.
Thank you. And I just like, to that girl, I would say make sure you have enough money in your bank. Obviously, I wasn't able to make the move until I was like solid in my bank account. And then what I told myself was that, okay, I have enough money that can hold me off for 3 months. I'm going to quit my job, and then I'm going to use these 3 months to build myself, to build my brand, to build my TikTok, to do some soul searching, see what I like, see what I want to get into. And then after these 3 months, if I'm not happy, if I'm running out of money, then I'll look for another job. And so I would say take it kind of as like just quit your job. If it's not making you happy, I understand I understand the job market's very, very hard. I totally 100% get that. But if this job is making you hate your life, quit. It's not worth the stress. It's not worth, stress can literally kill you in the long run. Like, it's not good. So I'd say quit your job. Make sure you have enough money in your bank account that'll last you 3 to 5 months. And then in those months, do your best to look for what's next. Do your best to know what you want to do in your life, what you want to achieve, and go after it. And as long as you have the money and the safety net to fall back on, this is the amount of time that you cannot be afraid to do what you want to do. Even if it's something where it's like, I just want to decompress for a month and just not do anything. Do that. And then the next month, get into it. Get into looking for what you're interested in. If you want to explore comedy, look into the comedy places. If you want to go into content creation, start making your own videos, start researching into that. You don't have to spend thousands and hundreds of dollars in equipment and stuff like that. If you have a phone, you're doing great already. Yeah. If you want to do something creative, just creative, business, financial, whatever, I would just say give yourself that amount of time to explore it, and also give yourself the grace. Rome wasn't built in a day. So it's even after when those 5 or 3 months are up, and you feel content in yourself of making that jump and making that leap, and you feel like, you know what, I still want to keep doing it. If I was doing it for 5 months, I feel like I can do it for the rest of my life. Then you're set, and you just got to trust yourself and have a lot of faith in yourself. That's the biggest thing at the end of the day. You have to have faith in yourself, and then go for there. And I wish you so much luck, because I 1,000% understand what you've been through. No one can tell me I've never been in the dirt. I've never worked, because I have been there. And you really just have to have faith in yourself and just take that leap.
I really could listen to you speak.
You are.
Oh my God!
That was insane. I was with you beat by beat.
Oh my God!
Thank you so much for coming here.
Thanks for having me.
I could not be happier. You are an amazing guest.
Oh,
You're truly such a light. It's crazy. Your energy is unbelievable.
And I feel our listeners absolutely know who you are, and they're gonna, if they don't, they're gonna know, especially if not now, in so many years to come, when you're literally a huge star. But tell everybody where they can find you.
But you can find me on Instagram at Yasmine_Sahid. You can find me on YouTube at Lady Yasmina, which I also have my full-length stuff, my shorts and music videos on there if you want to check those out. And you can also find me on TikTok at Lady Yasmina1. And just come along for the ride.
Thank you so much to Spotify for hosting us in our lovely second home here in LA at Spotify Studios.
It always feels like we're breaking in, but they're so gracious to host us. So gracious. It's a beautiful studio.
So talented and beautiful. It's really we're so lucky.
Yeah, and that's that Spotify.
Espresso.
And don't forget to do your homework. You know where to find us across all social media platforms at Good Children Pod. I'm on Instagram at Andrew Muscarella, on TikTok at Andrew_Muskie.
I'm on Instagram at Joe Hegyes, and on TikTok at Be Quiet Joe.
Write a little review, write us 5 stars, spread the word to your friends. If you're a Yasmine Sahid head like we are, tell your friends to listen to this episode.
And don't forget, every single Friday we bring you a brand new exclusive episode only on Patreon, plus access to our near 24-hour Patreon group chat that sometimes we actually abuse.
Yeah, we were going really crazy lately in that chat, but it's $7 buckaroos a month.
We'll see you there.
See you there.